search is underway for the man seen on video allegedly firing at federal agents during a violent clash at a cannabis farm near Los Angeles. It comes as a federal judge overnight ordering the Trump administration to temporarily halt, quote, indiscriminate immigration stops in 7 California counties, including Los Angeles. The judge stating that the DHS cannot detain someone based on their race, spoken language, or job, and that they cannot deny a detainee the right to legal counsel. The order comes in response to a lawsuit filed last week by immigration advocacy groups, as the immigration crackdown around parts of Los Angeles has been intensifying, resulting in chaotic scenes like this one. Aerial footage shows scores of masked agents swarming rural sites, some kicking in doors, others tossing smoke canisters to scatter workers. Among those found, 10 minors. Authorities released this photo showing agents posing with the children.
So think about this for a second, y'all. I want to make sure that we get this all together. Do you see how this got spun depending on what news organization that you're looking at? First of all, they did report that they did find minors that were working on these cannabis farms that were illegal migrants that was already identified as illegal when they came over here prior to Trump being in office. The other part of this conversation is that they saying that they doing the canisters in order to do workers and spread workers around, and that's not true. Those were protesters. Some of them paid, but definitely protesters. And one of the people was the guy that was holding the gun, actually shooting at ICE agents on the ground. And so, you got to pay attention. You got to be able to see through it. A lot of these workers, a lot of these people that are on these locations, that are on these cannabis farms, that are in Los Angeles and California altogether, are illegally here. And as you can see, it even goes as young minors that are over here working on these cannabis farms, but yet you have these right-wing judges that feel compelled to stop them and say, hey, Trump, you can't detain people, you can't deport people, you can't even save children that is not supposed to be here. It's funny because I see these liberals and I see these Democrats are so gung-ho about having a conversation about what happens in a lot of these places. But it's funny because they never mention the 300,000 children that went missing during the Biden administration, at least 300,000 children that went missing during the Biden administration that they can no longer find, and that Tom Homan has pledged to try and find, that went missing during the immigration that was coming over here during the border and during this whole border crisis. But this is the conversation that they'll continue to have with you.
Minors. Authorities released this photo showing agents posing with the children. In a late-night social media post, President Trump described protesters as thugs hurling rocks and bricks at law enforcement vehicles, saying he's granting total authorization to protect officers and demanding arrests immediately. In Texas, a chilling new case. The FBI now offering a $25,000 reward for information on this man, accused of plotting a July 4th ambush outside an ICE detention facility. He's one of 12 people now charged in the suspected attack. Officials say fireworks were used to lure correction officers out of the building. Then came the gunfire. One officer was hit.
An assailant who was positioned in the woods shot him in the neck area.
And a separate shooting at the McAllen airport involving U.S. Customs and Border Protection. New video shows the aftermath of a gunman unleashing dozens of rounds into the federal building before he was killed by law enforcement. The United Farm Workers say 11 people were injured during the raids, one of them in critical condition after falling off a roof, according to the family. Critics are warning the operations could fuel even more protests and could provide cover for individuals intent on targeting federal agents.
And it's amazing how we've gone from being in a position to where we actually understood that federal agencies or police officers or anybody that works for the federal government is not supposed to be touched, to where now we are trying to justify why it makes sense for, because see, they don't show you the rocks that's breaking windows, that's shooting at people that try to target immigration and customs, and all of this over people. And the overwhelming majority of them are people that additionally, in addition to obviously crossing over here illegally and taking advantage of the United States of America systems and getting paid under the table and sending money back home. In addition to that, they've also committed crimes while here, but yet we have these people, and it can't get any more visual than looking at this right here. Look at these people. Look at these people. These are the people inside the United States of America that is targeting federal officers and shooting at them now. You see what you do? You see what it is that you are dealing with? Do you see the people, the face of the protesters and the people that are targeting that now have to be charged? Look at the person in the upper right hand corner that is right above me right now. Do you think these people are sane? Do you think these people make sense?
A federal judge appointed by President Biden orders the Department of Homeland Security to stop making arrests in Los Angeles, immigration raids without probable cause. The order says ICE cannot detain individuals based solely on race, spoken language, or occupation. Homeland Security officials say claims that people targeted because of their skin color are false.
California's governor, attorney general, LA's city attorney, LA's mayor were among those supporting this lawsuit. I spoke to LA Mayor Karen Bass a short time ago.
It's a big win for Angelenos, and I frankly think it's a big win for the country, because what started in Los Angeles, I have no doubt, is going to go to other cities as well. And so the indiscriminate pulling people over, snatching them off the street, masked men with guns, no identification. The courts understood that this is against our democracy, this is against our Constitution, and said that it has to stop. They have to go about things the right way. If they have a warrant, if they have a reason to detain somebody, then what is it? Go about it the proper way or stop.
They're not indiscriminately detaining people. And the reason that they're wearing masks now is because the left and Democrats and people that Karen Bass support has been doxing them and their families for doing a job that is on the books, that is supposed to be enforced as far as immigrations and customs. If you go over to any other country, go over to Mexico City right now and just speak regular English in the accent that you have. They will be protesting for you to get the fuck out of their city, get out of their country, and speak Spanish and become a legal citizen, or else they don't want you gentrifying the areas that's over there. But yet we sit here and we make these false narratives and accusations that people are being wrongfully detained. Listen, if you get pulled over because they're able to buy a car, they're able to buy a home, they're able to do all of this stuff undocumented. You could never do this in another country, but they're able to do all of this stuff, and they know exactly who is who, which is one of the reasons why they're getting pulled over. It's not random. They know who they're going after, and they know the people that are undocumented. And so when they then stop them and pull them over and then say, hey, you got to go back to your country, it now becomes a problem.
We have seen lower courts side, frankly, with a lot of the Democratic officials on some of these immigration issues. And then as they're appealed, some of the more conservative courts side with the administration. Are you afraid that's going to happen again?
Well, that is definitely a risk. We do understand that, but it's just so important for Angelenos to understand that we stood together as a city. We peacefully protested, because that is critical, and we used all of the tools in our democratic toolbox, and that was the courts.
And lastly,
worst mayor of all time. One of the worst. Look at this woman. This is the face of treason, in my opinion. Worst mayor of all. They already know that this stuff is going to be appealed, and that, as usual, it's going to go back to the side of Trump, and people are going to continue. Same thing when it came to, firing federal workers. Same thing when it came to birthright citizenship. Same thing when it comes all across the board. But they'll sit here and they'll continue to play games. And they doing it for political purposes, and it's unfortunate because it's costing your taxpayer dollars in order for them to waste time for what's inevitably already going to do what it's going to do. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley 40% off your first order, 20% off for life.